All right, welcome back, guys. A couple weeks ago, we did a video on the 11.5-inch SBR that I use as a CQB gun. So this is my 11.5-inch. This is a AR-15 platform, obviously chambered in 5.56, and some of you guys really liked that. Some of you guys really didn't. Comment section got super spicy. Some of you guys were very upset on the comments, the direction to build a very specific solution for a very specific set of problems. So I went ahead and built a new upper.
Got him! Got him!
Not because of that, but when I sat down and thought about it, after looking into all of that, I realized that gun, that upper specifically, is about 8 years old, and I hadn't really changed a whole lot outside of optics and lasers and things like that. So decided to go ahead and change things up a little bit and get a new upper going. Some things are very, very similar. Some things are a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about what's new, what's different, why I made those changes, and get into it here. Okay, so the lower is, I'll just start with the lower here because I did make a couple changes to it. Let's get those out of the way. So previously I was running the CQG from Reptilia, so it was a much shorter grip. It's fine, it's not that I didn't like it, but the BCM is kind of just the old standby that I go to and utilize here. So I did switch back to the BCM, threw on some Howie's Pro Tape as is normal for me. And then I did go ahead and change up the bolt catch here. So this is the Maritime bolt catch from Geissele, and I like that it has the expanded lower section here so you can actually lock the bolt back really easily. It's got a great texture and a much larger top section as well when you have to go ahead and send it home. So aside from that, everything on the lower is exactly as it was before. Now, talking about what has changed with the upper receiver, I did pick up and basically just drop on my optic setup. So this is still the Gen 2 LP1 from Lead and Steel with the 3X EOTech magnifier on the Overbore Systems Kinu. Spent time out here at the range today actually getting this zeroed in with the brand new barrel. Talk about that in a second. Still great optic. I really, really like how tactile the adjustments on the turrets are here. So even when I'm very, very high or very low having issues, I know exactly how many clicks, how many adjustments I'm making with this optic, which make the zeroing process, which can be very, I would say painful, but probably just really frustrating, right? That much easier because you know very matter-of-factly when you're making the adjustments and where you're moving. So let's talk about the upper here. I did stay with an 11.5-inch barrel, and I did stay with the Roscoe bloodline. The reason being is I understand the gassing on this gun already. So that's what I was running in the previous upper receiver, was the 11.5-inch bloodline barrel. I don't know exactly the gas port size on it. That is proprietary and confidential according to their website. But I understood how the gassing worked with this system with the carbine buffer and buffer spring here. And specifically with the bootleg adjustable bolt carrier group. So dropping that in here, I knew this was gonna run. I knew it was gonna be reliable. It wasn't gonna chew through parts. It wasn't gonna chew through gas rings and things that were gonna give me problems immediately, right? So having a very good experience previously with the Roscoe barrels, with the bloodline barrels specifically, from an accuracy perspective, from a reliability and a durability perspective, and I found it on a pretty good sale. This just made sense to go back to it. Now, one of the things I had issues with previously was the lockup between the upper and lower on the last gun. Nothing major, but it was an annoyance for me. And I feel like if you put a lot of money into your gun, you want it to feel like you put a lot of money into your gun. So I did switch the upper receiver out. This is a BCM ThermoFit upper. It's one of their blems off the website. So basically what that means is that cosmetically, there's an imperfection somewhere. I was not able to find one. There's an imperfection somewhere that caused it to be a blemished item and therefore discounted. So I picked that up for about 90 bucks from BCM's website, and I had a buddy thermo fit the Roscoe barrel to it. Very, very good lock up there for accuracy, reliability reasons. That's something you probably want to look into if you're looking to build an upper. For the money, I don't think 90 bucks is too bad for a mil-spec upper receiver. The rail now is probably the one thing that I started off with and worked my way backwards, honestly. This is the Mark 16 from Geissele. So the black one you kind of see offered on their Super Duty uppers. The aesthetic overall kind of looks very similar to the URG-I.
Fuck that. I thought you did. I've been trying to be his fucking girlfriend. Yeah. You won't even fucking fuck me.
This is not a URG-I rail, so it's kind of like a Fugazi Geissele, because it looks like that from a distance.
Fugazi, you know what a Fugazi is?
No, Fugazi, it's fake.
Yeah, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a...
But it really isn't. Weight-wise, it actually isn't a whole lot lighter than the quad rail, but it does feel lighter. Definitely feels more narrow given that it's not a quad. And from a heat perspective, actually does very, very well. It's very surprising for me, having come from a quad gun where, you know, I would put a glove on after maybe 100 rounds or 200 rounds, you know, within a small time frame. This doesn't really seem to have that issue, and it's really, really enjoyable to shoot so far. The rest of this, you guys can see the pressure pad here is still the same dual Surefire pressure pad running my DBAL A3. The light is still the HRT Mark III head with an Arasaka body and the Surefire tail cap. Surefire 3-prong with the RC2. I did go ahead and go back to the BCM vertical grip here, just because it was on sale. It was easy to get, easy to install. They're great. I like the angle of it. I did wrap some Howie's Pro Tape on here just to give it a little bit softer touch. I really, really enjoyed this so far. I did go ahead. One thing I don't like about this rail is the steel socket here for the sling. It works. It's just not the greatest. So I did go ahead and throw on a Magpul sling attachment, grabbed it off Amazon, and this works fine. Moves it a little bit back closer to the top of the receiver itself here. I like to run my sling at the front and rear of the receiver. Speaking of slings, it's the same one. This is the Spartan sling from Huberworks out of Pennsylvania. You guys check them out. These are actually very cheap, very affordably priced for a really good quality sling. I like that there's no metal part here to make the adjustments. Very, very smooth, very light, very easy to use. Really enjoy it. Like I said, everything else is about the same. You know, the trigger is still the ALG Advanced Combat trigger in the lower. ALG, for those of you guys that didn't know, is actually the it's actually the child company of Geissele. So if you're talking about good, reliable hardware and a trigger, Geissele obviously knows what they're doing. So got the first few rounds through this. Going to be taking it through the Orion Training Group CQB course in about a week's time. Actually, I'll be in that class. So breaking this thing in, shed a couple ounces here, a little bit more fun to shoot. But yeah, kept the same bolt carrier, same Raptor charging handle. Some major updates, but nothing too crazy. So if you guys have questions or comments, comment section's great. You guys loved it the last time. Had a lot of fun going back and forth with some of you guys. This was built, this is an SBR, was built for CQB applications. You can do CQB with any rifle, and that's true. You can do structure clearance work and CQB with any rifle length. That was very well demonstrated throughout the global war on terror by the Marines in Fallujah and in other instances of our armed services. However, I think anybody that's actually done this professionally will tell you that right tool for the right job makes a big difference. So things like barrel length, sometimes things like optic height, those really do lend some advantages to the discussion. That is, for those of you guys that are gonna say it, not me saying that you can't do it with a longer gun. It's just saying that it's what I did. If you want to, you can also do this. You could also do something else. So thank you guys so much for checking this video out. That's all for this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.